everyone. Welcome back to Podpackers, the Worldpackers podcast. In our first episode, we went straight to the source and heard the origin story from our founders. Today, we're diving deep into the journey of someone who has already lived the Worldpackers experience to its fullest. Our guest today embodies the dream that so many people in their 20s have, which is turning a passion for travel into a full-blown career. Let's welcome Lexi Matijek. She started by volunteering with Worldpackers 6 times, from hostels in the US to a permaculture project in Portugal. From there, Lexi became such an influential travel creator that she inspired over 2,000 people to become members, and she sold out dozens of group trips around the world. But she also lived the flip side of that life, the burnout. And what's most fascinating is how Lexi completely reinvented herself. What a journey. Welcome to our podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. That was so sweet. Thank you.
We're happy to have you here. So, Lexi, before you became this big name in travel, you were just like so many of our listeners. And I want to start at the very beginning. What was happening in your life at the time that made you look for Worldpackers in the first place? Were you feeling any sort of restlessness or just general desire to travel?
Yeah, I was in college and I was kind of about to graduate. So there was that pressure of what I was going to do next, what my next life thing was going to be. And honestly, I just felt really lost and I just didn't want to jump into a career or into a 9 to 5. All of that really overwhelmed me. I felt like there was just so much left of life that I wanted to do and see. Like I had been in school, my whole life, and I had so many like dreams of my own before jumping into a career. So yeah, I decided that instead of kind of jumping into a career and kind of just starting to follow through with that, I just wanted to travel. And I saw Worldpackers online on like a YouTube video, and I just looked into it, started learning more about it, and then decided to just take the leap and go ahead and do it.
That's so awesome. Oh my gosh. Like your conversation is so relatable. I was talking to our founders yesterday and they were like, oh, like we were just also graduating and I'm in my senior year in undergrad. So I'm also like, oh, what do I do post-grad? But yeah, tell us about your first Worldpackers experience. Where did you go? What did you do? How did you feel when you got there? Were you scared, excited, surprised?
Yeah, I mean, I was honestly really scared. I made a friend come with me because I was like, okay, if I have a buddy with me, I'll feel more confident to go. And I went to Thailand and I was living in this eco village, and it was probably one of the best weeks of my life. It was just the most magical thing ever. And yeah, I was just feeling all the feelings. I was scared, I was nervous, but I was excited. And just honestly, kind of traveling that far away was very overwhelming for me. I'm from the United States, so a lot of the travel I had done were just in the US, and I knew that I just wanted to branch out and see so much more. So yeah, Thailand was my first stop in doing a Worldpackers there, and it was just incredible.
That's so amazing. I've also been to Thailand as well. I mean, I'm from Asia, so it's less an experience to me, but I think definitely I meet so many like Westerners who are like, oh, I just wanted to
Yeah,
change things up. So I went to Asia,
yeah,
which is funny because it's, the opposite of the world. But yeah, after
totally.
Thailand, did you go back home or did you travel around more?
Yeah, I was traveling around quite a bit. I was traveling around, yeah, throughout Southeast Asia, and I hosted my first group trip in Bali, and that was like part of me jumping into group trips as well. Just yeah, I kind of just spent 3 months over there and exploring, but also doing, yeah, running my own group trips and going and doing Worldpackers.
That's awesome. Was your first group trip hosted with Worldpackers or did you just organize that on your own?
Yeah, that one wasn't hosted with Worldpackers. It actually is such a full circle moment on one of my first times ever going abroad for the first time, like without family or anything like that. My first kind of real solo trip was to attend a group trip in Mexico. And the same girl that ran that group trip invited me to host one of my own with her in Bali. So we did it together. And it was just such a full circle moment to go from me being the scared one, wanting to go and go on a group trip to put myself out there, but go solo, but get to meet up with friends there and not have it be as overwhelming to then, yeah, next hosting my own.
Yeah, for sure. And I think so many travelers also want to do something similar, creating content, also building our community. And actually, I did do some research, but data shows that 56% of Gen Zers have that exact intention that you have. So I want to talk about that process a little bit more for our listeners. So, how exactly did the transition from being a volunteer to content creator happen? Was that just something you always planned to do when you first started Worldpackers? Or did you was there a point that you realized, oh, I want to do group trips? Or was it just because, the girl invited you?
Yeah, none of it was planned, honestly. It all just like kind of happened as it happened. I wanted to go and travel, and I just started like somewhat documenting little bits of it online, and kind of just telling people what I had done like post grad. I like was a live-in nanny. I was doing other like work trade type of jobs. I was working at like a science camp, and I was just doing a bunch of ways that I could travel but still make somewhat of an income or just give back. I was just finding little random things here and there, opportunities that I had, and I was just sharing them online. And then I started talking about Worldpackers online. You guys reached out to me. I kept talking about Worldpackers online and just sharing what I was doing, and none of it was ever planned. I honestly never even really planned to like do social media. I feel like a lot of people, like you said, like a lot of Gen Z have that path. I feel like I was never the type of person that like dreamed of doing content creation or dreamed of being a YouTuber. I feel like that's a very like common thing that people like say and want to do. And I just never had really, that was never like a goal of mine. It just kind of happened. I think I was just sharing so authentically online about what I was doing that it just resonated with people. And yeah, same for group trips. I mean, I just got the opportunity because I went on a group trip and someone asked me to host my own, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. And when I first hosted my own group trip, I got reached out to by a company, and I thought it was a scam. I was like, I don't know, is this really real? I get to like bring people on a trip, and I also get to go on the trip, and I get to get paid to go on the trip. Like, this can't be real. It just felt like incredible, but I just got such incredible vibes from it all that I was like, you know what, I'm just going to say yes to these opportunities as they come up. And yeah, it just kind of kept going from there. It just led me to all the things I've done.
That's awesome. I think saying yes to something is a really big lesson we can all take away. I mean, there's this book that I read recently. I think, yeah, it's Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes, and she's the one who created Grey's Anatomy. I don't know if you've heard of it, but basically she's like, let me just say yes to everything. And that's how it led to a bunch of her success. So it kind of reminds me of that. But yeah, I guess more on the content creation side, do you think there's a secret to building such a strong and engaged community? I mean, you never really even planned on getting into social media. How did you make that happen?
Yeah, I would say I love what you said about saying yes. There's these YouTubers called Yes Theory that really
Yes,
inspired a lot
I've
of
heard of
travel.
them.
Yeah, just like saying yes, doing things. And I love the quote that they say that strangers are just best friends you haven't met yet. It's something along the lines of that. And I think that that's just like so true to all of travel. Like, you start as strangers, but so quickly you're just your best friends. And yeah, with just like content creation in general. Wait, will you repeat that one part of the question?
Oh, I was just wondering, do you think there's a secret to being successful on social media?
Okay, so Nick, edit this out. But yeah, I do think that honestly, the secret to just being successful on social media, I really think just goes back to posting authentically. I think there's just like there's so many people that are posting online, and also there's so much content everyone is consuming on a daily basis. I think most of us have some sort of phone addiction problem, whereas we're trying to cut back our phone use, or we're just trying to be online less, or trying to consume different types of media. I feel like a lot of people just struggle with that. So I think anytime you're posting content that is just authentic to who you are, it will resonate with the right kind of people that also relate to you. And I just think that that was always what I tried to do with anything that I posted, was just stay authentic and like also just be real about the ups and the downs of travel as well, because there's a lot of downs to travel. It can be really hard on your body. It can be really hard on your mind to always be in a new place. I kind of felt like even though I was seeing the most beautiful things, I was in a point of fight or flight as well, because I was always in a new environment, always having to, kind of make sure I was keeping myself safe and making sure I was making that bus or that train. There's just a lot of like, you're kind of always in fight or flight. So I think just sharing the ups and the downs of that really resonated with people, because I think a lot of people just share all the highs of travel that I think people really just resonated with, that I also had a lot of lows in it as well. So yeah, just authenticity, I think, is everything to do with building like a strong community.
I totally relate. I mean, talk about the lows of travel. I think anyone who's been backpacking knows that feeling of
Yeah.
like, okay, can't let my guard down, gotta have the death grip on my phone. Like, where do
Uh-huh.
I eat? What does this mean? Doing math for currency? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're always on guard. So in your opinion, I guess, do you think being authentic just about what's happening is more important than kind of having, because I've heard a lot of content creators say like, oh, you need like a niche, or you need to be posting consistently. Do you think just like being yourself is the most important strategy?
Yeah, I do. And I definitely think that having a niche can be helpful, and posting consistently is important. But I think it really does just go back to showing up as yourself online. I think that a lot of times people can like see through when you're not showing up as authentically you. And I definitely think posting consistently is very important. Like at the very beginning, I was posting several videos a day and being really like on top of things. I had like a series going that was the first thing that kind of blew up, which was Worldpacker jobs I would apply to. And I would post all sorts of Worldpacker jobs I was finding like on your guys' website, and I would just like post incredible experiences. And I think it was just helpful to kind of have a consistent basis of that. I think I did like one a day for several months, and like I stayed consistent with that. But yeah, I really think it does go back to just showing up as yourself online. And I love what people have been saying. I've been hearing it a little bit recently from different content creators of like, make yourself the niche. Like instead of fitting into a niche, become your own niche. Like talk about just everything that's true to you and just stick to kind of who you are, and you will become the niche almost. So yeah, that's kind of always what my thought was with the niche. I never really I never picked one, but naturally travel was just such a big passion of mine. So I kind of did naturally fall into the niche of just posting about like budget travel.
That's awesome. Wow. So many good quotes that we're taking away from this. So now I want to talk a little bit more about the other side of that dream. So you made a total 360-degree career pivot. I mean, you stepped out of the spotlight to work behind the scenes. You now help other creators launch their own group trips. And now I know you live in Florida, you're surfing. And to me, I think that's the most powerful part of your story. So how come you chose to stay in the travel world, but work more behind the scenes? And like, what was kind of that change like for you?
Yeah, well, thank you for that. Yeah, I would say honestly, I just was getting very burnt out at what I was doing. I mean, I was traveling at a fast speed that just was not sustainable. Like I was full-time traveling, but instead of living in one place for a month or 2 months and really creating a routine, I was just jumping around from everywhere. And I just felt like the style of travel I was doing was really, really just affecting my mental health pretty heavily. I was doing a bunch of group trips, and I did way too many at once. I was honestly just really, I overcommitted myself. I said yes to every opportunity, which I think is beautiful, but it got to the point, kind of backtracking on what we said earlier, that I said yes to everything, that I kind of got to the point where I was kind of losing my passion for what I was doing. And I wasn't feeling like I was resonating as much with it as I used to. I used to love creating content. I used to love to like talk about what I was doing online and inspire others to get out into the world to travel. And I loved doing group trips. It's still like my favorite thing in the entire world. That's why I've kind of transitioned to doing group trips still, but being on the back end of them instead of being the one there on them. I think I was just getting burnt out. I think oftentimes travel is seen as a incredible, beautiful thing, and it for sure is. But I think that anything, too much of anything isn't good. I think everything in moderation is wonderful. And I just like threw myself into this dream of travel and group trips. And yeah, I just simply burnt myself out. I think that that's just the main thing that went to it, is I was just burnt out, and I wasn't loving it as much as I used to. So I knew that I wanted to kind of be a little bit more settled in a place. And I have a home in Florida. So I wanted to just like spend time in my home and get to like really create a life here, because for almost 4 years of my life, I had no consistency. I had no consistent friends because all my friends lived around the world. We all lived in different countries. I had no consistent routine. I never really got to even see the same person for more than like a week at a time because I was always in a different place. So I think all that fun honestly just kind of caught up to me, and I knew I was craving a bigger sense of stability. So yeah, but I knew that I wanted to kind of step out of content creation. I wasn't feeling as passionate about kind of documenting my life anymore. I kind of just wanted to be in the present moment, living my life. But I knew I wanted to stay in the world of travel in some way. And group trips have always been such a passion of mine. Like Worldpackers reached out to me to do group trips. I fell in love with your guys' Worldpackers group trips that I've now been like, okay, I'm going to just transition on to their team. I didn't even know if it was an opportunity. I just messaged them and I was like, look, I love what you guys are doing at Worldpackers. I'm wanting to stop content creation, but I'm wanting to stay in this group trip world. Like, can I work for you guys? I think that what you're doing is so wonderful. And I got a job here, and I've just, yeah, that's kind of what the transition has been, is just staying in the world that I love, which is travel and group trips, but doing it from the back end and kind of inspiring other people to get to go and do them.
For sure. I mean, I think there's so many ways to experience travel without actually having to be on the road. And, you know, when you say yes to things too often, sometimes you need to say no. But I think sure, I guess we told our listeners earlier, we're like, you should always say yes to everything. But now we're kind of taking it back. And it's like, okay, once you say yes enough times, saying no to one thing can also mean saying yes to something else. And now for you, you're working at Worldpackers, which sounds awesome. So I guess tell us a little bit more. What does your life look like today in Florida? I mean, like, do you have a balance between your work, travel? Is it all kind of the same to you? Do you miss going on group trips?
Yeah, I mean, I actually miss it a lot. It's been about close to a year, I think, of not traveling, which is a
Wow.
long spurt of time. I kind of purposely decided like I'm going to stay put for a year and kind of see how it goes. And I am very much getting the itch to kind of go on another adventure, go back on a group trip and travel again. But I think that since I was doing it at such a high level that I did need to kind of come all the way over to the other side, stay put for a little bit. And yeah, I for sure miss it. And I'm excited to kind of get back out into the world and doing group trips, and just being able to work for Worldpackers is just my dream job. I just feel like everything to do with group trips is just so inspiring to me. It's completely changed my life. I've met my girlfriend on a group trip. I've met all my best friends on a group trip. Like my entire circle of people developed from me putting myself out there and going on group trips, because I just think it's honestly the easiest way to build friendships, because I feel like in our normal lives, like you might see your friend one time a week on the weekend for a few hours. Maybe you're going out to dinner or going over to their house, but you're not really seeing your friends. At least in my experience in my adult life, I'm not seeing my friends on a daily basis. I don't go to school with my friends anymore. We all do separate jobs. We're kind of in our own little world. So when going on group trips, you get 1 week or 2 weeks of 24/7 time with people. I feel like the relationships that build from that build so much faster and so much deeper and quicker than it would be just kind of making friends at home. So I'm just so passionate about those type of connections. I feel like a lot of people are lonely, and a lot of people are also just like missing those deep connections, especially after high school and after college. Being an adult life, there's a lot of kind of disconnect from your communities and from your people. And I think group trips kind of brings back that childlike feeling of friendship, of getting to just spend 24/7 having fun and just experiencing new things. It's just beautiful.
Oh my gosh, you're inspiring me to go on a group trip, and also instilling fear in me about graduating and entering the adult world.
Go on a group trip.
Yeah. So would you say that most of your friends now, are they people that you have met on group trips, or are you still, very close to your college and high school friends? Like most of your friends, they live abroad. How do you still keep in touch now that you're in Florida for a year?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly very hard. I have a wonderful community of people here and friends that I've known since elementary or middle or high school that I keep in touch with, and those friends are much easier to see. But I have so many connections of just people all around the world. I have friends all throughout the United States. I have friends all throughout the world and in other countries. So being able to keep up with those friendships is harder. I've flown to people's hometowns and visited them. I've done a lot of trips with friends. I've gone on like repeat group trips with friends to get to spend time together again. But yeah, I just think that it is hard when you get into the world of travel, because your circle of people is now, instead of just in your little hometown, it's spread out throughout the world. And I just have beautiful connections with people across the world that I can't see on a regular basis, because, we just can't get to each other as easily. So yeah, that's hard.
It is hard. I definitely understand that. I have a lot of international friends, and also just like, people that you meet in hostels, and it's like, wow,
Yeah.
you're awesome. And then I remember once I was in Portugal, and I became really good friends with this one girl, and then she left before I did, and she just told me, she was like, goodbye, have a nice life. And I was like, that's it?
Oh,
Like, like we're never gonna see each other again, and we probably won't. But I don't know if she's listening right now. I miss you. So
it's
um
hard.
so looking back at Lexi, who was just starting her first Worldpackers trip, what piece of advice would you give? And I want you to think about, for the 20-something person who's listening right now, who's feeling a little bit lost, what advice would you give?
Yeah, I would say honestly, just follow your gut, and also follow, as cliche as it sounds, follow your dreams. Like, I'm such a big believer that if you follow what you are passionate about, things will just fall into place. Like, whether it's jobs or friendships or connections, like, I just was truly following what made me happy, which was traveling. And that led to a career, and that led to connections and friendships. And it all happened because I was in alignment with what I wanted out of my life. I think that if I had gone the more traditional route of starting a job right after college and kind of going that route, I wouldn't have been as fulfilled. But because I went a route that was fulfilling to me, everything just fell into place. So I think that's what a lot of people are kind of scared of, is making those big steps. Is they're like, well, what if it doesn't work out? But I just truly believe if you're following what is actually meant for you, everything will fall into place. And like, there's no hurt in trying. Like, if you want to just take a gap year or even a gap month, like if you want to just take a month off of work or school and go and travel, like there's just nothing that like, I just think everyone should at least experience that once in their life. So yeah, also just having the confidence to know that if you're following what feels good for you, no matter what your friends think or your family thinks, like, you have to put yourself first. I think a lot of people are also maybe worried about, what if my friends think that this isn't the right path? What if my parents aren't going to like what I'm wanting to do? Like, my parents hated me starting to travel at first. It worried them so much. They were so overwhelmed that I wanted to fly across the world and go do a million things. But after they saw how happy it made me, it just truly everything just fell into place. So yeah, just follow what makes you happy.
Totally. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think for a lot of people, a year off sounds very daunting. But I really like what you suggested of breaking it down into 1 month or even 2 months. And definitely, like my parents were the same. It's like, oh, why are you going there? It's so dangerous. And I was just like, I'm like, I'm still alive. And they're like, wow, it's so beautiful. And like, see, you wouldn't have known if I hadn't gone there.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, that's really amazing. So as we start to wrap up, I want to look ahead for a minute. The world is changing. How we work, study, and connect is also changing, and of course, that means that the way we travel is changing too. So, how do you see the future of travel in this kind of era of remote work and post-pandemic life?
Yeah, I mean, I think travel is just gonna honestly keep becoming more and more common. I think honestly, social media has made people realize that the world is a beautiful place. The world isn't as scary as a lot of people make it out to be. And that there's good people in every single place around the world. And I think that kind of social media has brought a beautiful light to that, that there's just so much to see and to explore. And there's so many people doing it, all ages, all everything. Like, there's so many people that are just going out there and traveling, that I think that yeah, it's just becoming much more common. And I think also after COVID and having remote work be much more common, a lot of people have more of a freedom to go and do that, to go work remotely, and to be able to set up their life in a way that has the freedom for them to go and travel and still work and still make an income. And yeah, I just think travel is just going to keep booming, honestly.
I mean, that's our hope as well. So, I mean, all the more reason to take a group trip, right?
Exactly.
So, so now that you're working for Worldpackers, what's your, I mean, I've asked this to people, but what is your dream for Worldpackers in the next 5 or 10 years? How do you see it? What direction do you see the company going in?
Yeah, I mean, just honestly, how it's still going. I think Worldpackers just does so much good for the world and is inspiring so many people to get out into the world and travel and do it in a sustainable way, and a way that also doesn't break the bank. I mean, that is why I started volunteering with Worldpackers. Is I thought it was, and I think it was the only way I was able to travel with the money that I had, because I knew that, okay, I just got to get a flight there. And once I'm there, I can volunteer and get affordable accommodation and get to be really immersed in the local environment. And
I thought it was
that,
a scam. When I
yeah,
signed up to volunteer last year, I was like, "There's no way I only have to pay like $49 to do this." Like, so many people, they're like, "Oh, it's like too good to be true. Like, is this a scam?" And
yeah,
I'm like, "Wait, no, I've done it. It's actually not."
I know exactly. I feel like it really is. Like, it feels too good to be true. It's like, what do you mean? I just pay like one little membership, $49 a year, $59 a year, whatever it is. And I get to go and travel and get to like unlimitedly travel. Like, I can hop from place to place, and I just got to kind of get my flights there and food and, other activities and expenses that come along with travel. But it really made travel so much more attainable for me, because I always had the dream of traveling, but I was one of those people that thought I had to wait till retirement, or I had to wait till I was much older, like in my 30s or 40s, till I had built up enough of a savings to be able to go and do it, until I found Worldpackers and like different work trade opportunities. And I was like, oh, like this is an option. And I also thought it was a scam at first. I looked into it quite a lot, and I followed everyone that I could find that had done Worldpackers volunteering programs. And I just like fell in love with what they were doing and just followed along what they were doing. And I was like, okay, all this is real. I'm going to go and do it. I feel good about this. And yeah, I just think in 5 to 10 years with Worldpackers, I just hope that we're just continuing to inspire so many people. And Worldpackers has recently transitioned into really focusing a lot on group trips, and that has just been so incredible. I think that group trips are also really changing the world of travel. I think a lot of people, for their first ever trip, it can be really intimidating to go solo. It can also be intimidating to go and do a Worldpackers program for the first time. You don't quite know what it's going to be like, but when you go on a group trip, you at least know you're going to meet up with a group of 10 or 20 people who are like-minded and are around your same age, that you are going to get to go and travel with. And I just think that, yeah, I think that we're just going to continue just building up the group trips. And I'm so excited to see how many people we inspire to get to travel around the world.
Me too. I know we already have a bunch of locations. I mean, I haven't personally been on one, but I kind of wish that like I had known about group trips at the time. Well, actually, I think when I started volunteering, Worldpackers didn't have group trips yet, so
Yeah.
it wasn't really an option. But now looking back, I'm like, well, like that would have been great.
Oh, that's
um,
so cool. I've loved the shift that Worldpackers has done into still doing the volunteering and everything like that. But yeah, really building this community with group trips. It's just been such a wonderful thing to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, group trips are something that I appreciate about them and that I think I would have liked when I first started is the accessibility because I know a lot of, especially, I mean, I don't want to get into this because it's a whole nother can of worms, but just like being solo female travelers is like, a lot of people are very scared to go abroad. And like you said, you had only really traveled in the Americas. So for maybe an American, going to Thailand it's very far, it's scary. And so definitely I think group trips can eliminate that barrier.
It is. It makes it makes the barrier to entry of travel so much easier because you really just a group trip is all planned for you. You really just got to get your flight there. And once you land, you're fully taken care of and you're like fully immersed into a group of like new friends. You don't have to do the, social events at a hostel and introduce yourself and kind of try to put yourself out there. It really just is like, I think the easiest way to get into travel, especially if you have some fears about going alone, solo, especially as a female, like it just really makes it just so much easier.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Lexi, thank you so much for such an honest and insightful conversation. I think we can all agree that you're a super inspiring speaker. And your journey is proof that the path does not have to be in a straight line. It's about exploration, building, learning, and just having the courage to redefine what success can look like for you. I think you really are the perfect example of just having a hard reset and turning it into a life that you want, a life that's purposeful for you. And for everyone who tuned in and felt that spark of recognition in Lexi's story, our invitation is open. You can go to worldpackers.com to explore opportunities and specifically, I guess, Lexi, do you want to tell us more about where people can find group trips?
Yeah, totally. You can find them on the Worldpackers Instagram account, just at Worldpackers. You can also find them at worldpackers.epictrips. And yeah, check out our website, check out all the different trips that we have. We have trips for all sorts of people. We have LGBTQ plus group trips. We have neurodivergent group trips. We just have all female group trips. We have group trips for co-ed groups. We just have everything. So yeah, just log on, find a trip that matches you, find a trip that kind of sparks your interest and come on one.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lexi. I'm Clarissa. Thank you to all our listeners for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next trip.